Welcome back YouTube. In this video I'm going to give you a full program to increase your pull-up strength to help you get out more consecutive reps of pull-ups or to help you get your very first unassisted pull-up. Now before we get into it, I do want to know how many pull-ups can you currently do, and do you have a goal for how many reps you'd like to be able to do? Drop me a comment below to let me know, and please do also give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can stay up to date with all of my training tips, my workouts and more. Okay, so when it comes to increasing pull-up strength, probably the biggest mistake that I see people making, strangely enough, is trying to do too many pull-ups. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, as really the way to increase your pull-up strength to get more pull-ups should be pretty simple. You just do more pull-ups, right? Now, in essence, yes, but the way in which you go about setting yourself up and programming your pull-ups can make all the difference between whether you see much long-term progression or whether or not you wind up doing a lot of work but not really getting anywhere after several weeks or months or even years. See, this is how I often see people trying to increase their pull-up strength. Let's say you can do a total of 5 pull-ups consecutively with good technique. A common mistake that people make is they go straight into a set of that 5 reps, then they take a rest, and they do another set for as many reps as they can handle, which if you could only initially do 5 reps as your 5 rep max, you'd probably only be able to do maybe 3 or 4 reps on the next set, and then maybe you might be able to squeeze out one more set, which would probably have you failing at maybe 1 or maybe 2 pull-ups. So the net result of this is you've worked really hard and you've pushed your limits, but you haven't really accrued much training volume, and as a result, you'll probably find you don't improve much over time. This is the exact same issue that I see a lot of people making when it comes to working in more traditional powerlifting work. You see, it can be really tempting and a lot of fun to get in and see what you can lift by doing like a 1 rep max or a heavy double or a heavy triple on squats, bench presses or deadlifts. But doing this too often will actually limit your ability to do anything productive in the rest of the session. It's definitely something that I fell prey to often many years ago, where I'd love to go into the gym, and despite having a program I was supposed to be following, I'd usually break free from that and just test out a heavy double or single because things were feeling good and it was a whole lot more fun. And then I'd try to do my program after that. See, even if you were to do several sets like this, the fact is you probably still won't be able to accrue enough quality work that will contribute to long-term progression, and that is why you won't really make any gains in strength. Now, a really important thing to keep in mind here is that maxing out on the amount of reps you can do on pull-ups is an indicator of strength, or it's an expression of strength. But indicators or expressions of strength aren't necessarily going to be the best ways to increase your strength over time. Now, of course, if you can't even do 1 pull-up, then that issue may not necessarily apply to you directly, as you wouldn't necessarily be maxing out in a set every time you go to the gym. But this is a really important mentality to set yourself up with before embarking on what I'm about to set out for you here with how to increase your pull-up strength or how to get your very first rep of unassisted pull-ups. So the first thing you want to do is establish just how many pull-ups you can do consecutively with good technique. This is going to be your gauge for where the rest of the programming will fall into. The minimum number of pull-ups that you should be able to handle to be able to use regular pull-ups in this routine I'm going to give you should be 5. If you can't do 5 reps just yet, don't worry, we'll be using a combination of eccentric reps and other variations like rack chins and inverted rows to build up your strength to that first pull-up. To outline the program though, let's say you can handle that minimum number of 5 repetitions. What we're going to do with this is lay out your reps and sets intelligently to allow you to get as many quality reps and as much productive volume in as possible to build your strength. In order to do this, it's important for us to not have you hitting your absolute threshold for strength until maybe the last set. If you were to max out and hit that 5 reps on set number 1, as I already mentioned, you'll probably only get a couple more sets out and probably won't be able to back up set 1 with more sets of 5. It typically winds up looking something like 5 reps, then 4, then 2 or 3 reps at absolute best for a total of 11 or 12 reps, but it usually falls below 10 reps in total. Now, there isn't necessarily a golden number of reps that you have to hit for it to be truly productive. But in my experience, I've found that a minimum number of about 16 to 18 reps, but ideally something more like the threshold of 25 to 30 reps, is a good target to be hitting each workout. So the question is, if you can only do 5 reps, how can we spread this out intelligently to help you hit this minimum number in a training session? If you can do a set of 5 pull-ups, then a set of 2 reps or 3 reps should be comfortably achievable with very good technique. In order to hit the minimum number of 18, or to eventually hit the threshold of 25 to 30 reps, that would then require you to be doing between 6 to 9 sets. Now, this may sound like a lot of sets, but remember, you're only going to be doing 2 or 3 reps per set in this context. So this is all about pacing yourself out to maintain good technique whilst hitting a sufficient number of reps to improve your strength long term. So to lay this out, what I recommend you do is set yourself achievable goals. First, you want to start out with 6 sets of 2. This only has you hitting that 12 rep total, but your goal should be to make those 12 reps as perfect as possible and to make it feel as easy as possible. Remember that the goal here isn't about maxing out or expressing your strength, it's about laying down the foundation to build your strength over time. Each time you come back to this, you want to have another achievable goal for yourself that is challenging but doable. So once you can do 6 sets of 2, next I would be adding in an additional rep to this and go to 6 sets of 3 reps. You might find at this point you start to fatigue by the final couple of sets, so stick with this until you're able to comfortably do all 6 sets of 3 reps with good form. Next, you can start to add in extra sets, going from 6 sets of 3 to 7 sets of 3, then 8 sets, then 9 sets, and finally 10 sets of 3 for a total of 30 reps. Now, once you can achieve 10 sets of 3 reps, then you can retest your pull-up strength and you'll find that you're able to handle more reps in one set. You could also skip over this test if you wanted to and just start the cycle again. Only this time, don't start with 6 sets of 2, start out with a higher number of reps per set. Something like 6 sets of 4 would be a good restart point, and then you repeat the exact same cycle again. In terms of frequency for this program, it really comes down to what else you're doing in your training. For most people, this will slot in perfectly fine at the start of an upper body workout, or even as a standalone training day once per week. If you're finding that you're recovering fine on this, you can look to add it in at an extra time later in the week as well. I'd aim for at least 2 days between each workout, if not longer though. I don't recommend doing it more than twice per week unless you're very advanced and are scaling your training appropriately from other work to be able to recover from this kind of work. Now, what if you can't do a single pull-up or can't hit the minimum number of pull-ups to be able to perform this routine comfortably? You have 2 options. If you're able to do more than 2 reps of pull-ups but less than 5 reps, I recommend using eccentric reps or lowering reps only. You're significantly stronger on the lowering phase of a rep as opposed to the lifting portion, and you typically find that if you're able to do 2 or 3 reps of pull-ups as your maximum number in a set, you should be able to perform 5 eccentric only reps, aiming to slowly lower yourself down from the top over 3 to 5 seconds. The big key here is to make sure you're being honest with yourself with your rep speed and that you're not using any momentum. I try to avoid jumping up to the pull-up position as this tends to favor the use of momentum and more speed in each rep. Instead, set yourself up with a step and start in the position you want to be in, and then remove your legs from the step and slowly lower yourself down. If you have it available, using some sort of countdown is helpful to help keep you honest with the pace of lowering rep as well. Now from here, I would use the exact same progression scheme I already outlined. Start with 6 sets of 2 eccentric reps only, then go to 6 sets of 3, and then increase your set number from there. Finally, what if you can't do a single pull-up? Then I'd be looking to introduce a couple of different options. I'd use rack chins or inverted rows, depending on your strength levels. You can set these up in gymnastic rings or a suspension trainer, or you can simply do them in a rack with a barbell if you prefer. Again, just find whatever setup allows you to comfortably hit 5 reps, and then follow the exact same rep and set scheme I already outlined, starting with 6 sets of 2. As you get stronger on these regressions, you'll soon find yourself able to work towards doing the eccentric chin-up protocol, and then go into the full chin-up protocol soon enough. So there you have it, guys, a really simple guide to increasing your pull-up strength over time. Hope you guys found this useful, and if you have any other questions related to pull-ups or chin-ups, whatever you want to call them, drop them in the comment section below. Thank you all for sticking around to the end of this video to help boost up my YouTube ratings, and I'll see you all next time.